Welcome, guys. Welcome to the process. It's Wednesday night. Jhmeid, what's up?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Let's pay some bills right now. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. And shout outs to my sponsors, calzero.com and Sterile Education. Go download that app and calzero.com. Put that code in the process and you'll get a $17.99 discount. And by the way, guys, one more thing. Please head over to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Use your little pinky finger, hit that bell. You will be notified every time we have new content coming out. Don't forget. So tonight we're going to do something really, really different, really special. I haven't seen anyone do it thus far. Have you seen anybody do what we think we're going to do?
I haven't. People are a
Okay.
little scared to take this step out into the open that you're ready to take. So I want to see what we do here.
All right. So some people keep talking about, wait, I don't have a platform. I want to ask a question. I want to say something, but I can't do it. So tonight on Hot Topics, what we're going to do, we're going to share the link to the show with you guys. So if you're on LinkedIn, look in the comments. The link to the show is there. If you're on YouTube, the link to the comments is also there. So swing over to that YouTube page or scroll down to your LinkedIn page, the Process Podcast, and click that link and come on stage. And if you have a question or you just want to share some information, come on. We'll see. Let's see who's brave enough to come on. Click on the link and come on if you can, if you want. If you're brave enough, come on. All right. So let's get into hot topics, brother. What's going on in your neck of the woods, as they would say?
Well, we're kind of busy on our neck of the woods, but it's a little tempered looking at what's going on around the industry. With a lot of us got into healthcare or stayed in the healthcare because of the relative safety as far as job security. And a lot of people around the country are feeling some post-pandemic repercussions as hospitals are laying off staff and closing. And, that always makes me sad because, we all know how it is. You get comfortable, you get settled in, and then now, through no effort of your own, now you're back out there on the market, and you have to make some big decisions about where you want to live and all that stuff. So I've been watching that segment in the market, but at the same time, we're doing pretty good. Hey, Janine, what's going on, Danny? I was talking to Danny about this crazy idea I had. I see Alexandra is on here. What's
Yeah,
up,
shout out to the
everybody?
Conjure Institute. Danny, what's up? What's up? What's going on? Janine. Yeah, I'll get you one of these days, Janine. One of these days, one of these good days.
I don't know why Janine is not on the show. She needs to click the link and come on
Oh
the
yeah,
show.
Janine, click that link and come on. Click that link. You're on LinkedIn. Scroll right down, click that link, and come on. Let's hear what you have to say. You're probably in scrubs right now, but still, come on.
It's still relatively early on her side.
Mm. So yeah, I went through Becca's report, and there were a number of hospitals laying off people and eliminating positions, and CEOs are leaving. CEOs are switching switching hospitals. There's a from AM Newsletter, Cleveland Clinic CEO takes a new job in Presbyterian, New York, as the COO, Chief Operating Officer. So people are moving around. People are seeing, well, things are a little, turbulent on their end. So they're finding greener pastures. So basically, everybody's not, from technicians to CEOs, everybody's kind of feeling the pinch and finding somewhere. Like a lot of technicians now are traveling because the departments, they're not getting raises. Things are a little, the atmosphere is a little different now, and people need more financially to sustain, their needs. So everybody's doing it, guys, not just the technicians. So
And and speaking of needs, I just wanted to shout out and send some prayers and donations. Whichever platform you like to donate is towards the relief efforts in Florida. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but for the people who are affected, it's as bad as it can be. So, if you have some extra thoughts and prayers, I know you can send those, but also think about reaching out through whatever platform you wish to donate to help those relief efforts.
yes, guys, if I think Red Cross definitely very secure for taking donations.
Yeah.
Um, Donate to Red Cross, and if you know someone, send them a package. Go to Amazon, get their address. If hopefully their home is still intact, get their address and send them, a care package, something they may need to get back on their feet. And you always have cash apps, cash app on those money. You always do that too. So
um, and yeah, just looking at things kind of happening, you know, in Florida, you expect a increase in infection after any hurricane, and so typically, if it's unable to be treated by medical means, it may have to be treated by surgical means. So that could cause a uptick in those areas that were affected by the hurricane. I know our family in the Northeast is still raining like cats and dogs as the low pressure has settled off over there. Janine is in decon.
yeah, Janine is in decon. So Janine, flush and brush. That's all I'll tell you. I'll brush and flush. I mean, I'll repeat, you know. So, guys, um, if you want to come on the show and you always wanted to come on the show, shout out to Omar. Click the link. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and it's in LinkedIn. So if you always wanted to come on the show, this is your opportunity, guys. And I want to also remind you that the process is having its marathon on Sunday, October 9th, right? So what is Sunday, October 9th, you might ask? Sunday, October 9th is the first day of sterile processing week. So we're going to bring it in with a bang with a 12-hour marathon. So a marathon, not meaning we're going to run for 12 hours. Get it out your mind. I can't.
I mean,
So,
that's what I thought.
but we're going to have a live show for 12 hours straight. So we're incorporating education in there. And you're gonna see a lot of the who's who in cell processing, all the big names, some new folks you never heard of. You're gonna have some knowledge, some new information about what's going on with HSPA, what's going on in the industry, what to look out for. Tune in Sunday, October 9th. All right, that's my shameless plug for now. I will be bringing it up. But click on that link, come on the show, and share your thoughts. Don't be shy.
So let me start it off by piggybacking off of something that you said is it's about that time uh, for HSPA savings. And I did a presentation on this and, years and years ago, because what I'm telling you is, a lot of people they might say, my hospital won't fund us to go, or my hospital won't let me go. So first of all, if you put in your time off now and it has nothing to do with HSPA, it's gonna get approved. It's gonna get approved, right? Because nobody else, not gonna request it until it's time for HSPA. Start socking away that money, right? I think the registration is pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can divide into little chunks, maybe a Christmas fund, or if your bank has a way you to open an account that you can only go in to get to it. Start socking away that money. $20 a week will get you to HSPA. Let me.
All right. So shameless plug again. You continue.
And so now you're not going to probably be able to stay at the convention hotel. That's okay. There's nothing but debauchery going on. Denard is there having his hotel parties. All the big wigs are having these private hotel parties. Only the cool people are
Why you
invited.
have to share all that information? They don't have
But
to know about that.
but you could get a hotel that's say 15, 12 miles away. They don't know anything about the convention. And so their prices are their same regular prices that it would be during that time. You stay there, you get a Lyft or Uber into the convention, and then there's so many free events, especially the opening night party. That is wild. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is as much food as you can eat. But the networking, here's why it's worth the investment. When you are an SPD nerd, sometimes you think you're talking to the wall or just talking to yourself, or going to free content like this, in maybe in like a vacuum. So this is your opportunity. When you meet the other fellow SPD nerds, it's life changing, because you're like, right now you're like, I'm the only one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you meet other SPD nerds and you're sitting out on the veranda at 10 o'clock at night talking about how you're going to change the way you do your assignments for decon and the assembly, now you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All the problems that you're facing, somebody else has faced them and figured them out. And I don't mean some industry bigwig or the people who are speaking. I mean a lot of the great conversation I had with just regular attendees. Well, we do our thing like this. And I'm like, totally still in that. So I encourage you, if you are always waiting for your hospital to fund you and your hospital to a month before HSPA, when now you can't go because the people who are going, here's the opportunity now to sock some money away and pay for it, because you don't have to pay in full. I mean, people walk up and pay at the convention. So, they missed the early bird price. So you don't want to miss the early bird price. But it's just an opportunity. If you fund your way down there, you will not regret it.
And shout out to our LinkedIn viewer. I'll get back to what you just said. I have for CSP week this year. The employees will get all expenses paid trip to. Who's that?
I
Post
know
your name up there, because I
that
can
LinkedIn
see.
user needs to reveal themselves.
Yeah,
That is
yeah. Push it.
outstanding. That's outstanding. I mean, first
Yeah,
of all,
yeah.
I want to put in an application, but that is an outstanding. Goodness gracious, that is an incredible reward for the employee of the year. And I'm telling you, that employee of the year will be so excited. Make sure you put in for the scholarships that are available through the HSPA foundations. The number of, when you say, well, I don't put in because I never get selected. But guess what? A bunch of other people are thinking like that. So it's a higher hit rate than you can believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Ebo, my boy.
Who's that?
Ebo, that's who that
Oh,
is.
Ebo, what's up? What's up? I
Yeah,
met Ebo a
that's
few
totally
weeks
not
ago at a.
surprising now that I know it's Ebo. That's a very Ebo
I
thing
met
to do.
Ebo a few weeks ago at a little seminar in PA.
Yeah,
Nice meeting
yeah.
you, brother.
Speaking of
Um,
which, I'm gonna be all up and through PA in the next few weeks.
all right, all right, all right. And guys, don't forget to treat your team. Give them a little something, not just the regular pizza. The dry, flaky pizza. Give them a little something extra. Get some Popeyes. Get some Chick-fil-A. If you're on the East Coast, get a little Wawa. You know, get a little something different. Make them feel a little special. Give them some gift cards to some nice spots, Applebee's, um, where wine and spirits. Give them a little something different. Give them a little something different. So guys, treat your team. And guess whose week it is this week?
Whose week is it?
It is. You know what? I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm gonna go back in my Google. I think it's materials management or supply chain week. All right. Supply chain week this week.
That's where my heart
So,
is. That's where
sh-
my heart is.
so shout out to all my supply chain folks. Thank you for all that you do. Because without you, we wouldn't get the Bowies, we wouldn't get the bios, we wouldn't get the wrap. We wouldn't get any of that. We wouldn't get the basins. We wouldn't get the stuff to. If you pull case carts, you wouldn't get the soft goods to pull those carts. You wouldn't get your repairs back. Like they basically keep everything alive. They're the conduit to everything running correctly. So shout out to my um supply chain folks. And y'all get paid a lot of money.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of supply chain people with SPD certifications because there is no equivalent on their side, and so especially surgical supply chain. Some hospitals, those guys pick the soft goods for cases, but at the very least, a lot of them stock up the OR with the consumables and those high price goods that are up in the operating room. So there's a lot of interconnection, and a lot of managers and directors have both reporting to them. So shout out to our supply chain partners. I made a lot of hay in supply chain. I actually love supply chain.
You like supply chain?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but also shout out to all my supply chain managers who manage SPD, and shout out to all my SPD managers who manage supply chain. So we know there's a learning curve. Just bear with those managers, please. They didn't start off in those areas, so give them a little time, you know, to get it together. Who's on? Who's on?
Yeah. I mean, and it's up to us to help them learn our world and then take some of the principles from their world to our world. It wasn't until I really worked in supply chain and I started managing supply chain people that I realized how important it was to do FIFO for instrument trays, right? Because, the easy thing is that you just stack the instrument trays on top. So you made some changes, you did all this good stuff, but that tray at the bottom, it not only doesn't have the up-to-date count sheet and contents, it hasn't been QA'd in 2 years now. So using FIFO can keep it fresh, and then you can use that opportunity when you're doing your quality program, which I know you're pulling trays off the shelf. Pull those old trays off the shelf, see what's going on with those, and then that'll force that kind of recirculation, that first in, first out, so that you're always using the oldest product, so that you can remain in compliance with the rigid container and or wrap shelf life policy. So that's a whole nother opportunity for accreditation finding if you don't have a hospital policy that makes sense, or you don't have a hospital policy that speaks to how long you're going to let stuff stay on the shelf. And my supply chain experience said, let's pull those older trays first, and we won't have to worry about that.
And you know what, especially supply chain on that side, you know what not following FIFO does? It wastes money because at the back of the shelf you have expired goods, and that's basically just going down the drain if you can't return it. So FIFO is definitely important in supply chain, and following that in your SP department is definitely a plus. Um, some people can't even follow that because they're so busy, because everything is going off the shelf anyway. When you have a low supply, it's hard
Right.
to follow it because everything, all your cameras, you don't have enough cameras, you don't have enough auto sets, But there are those trades where that thing's been on the shelf for, you have two, you only need one once a year. You just gotta rotate it. And the one you have that's a year old probably has a hole in it or something wrong with it. The tip's probably busted. Something's wrong with that. So try and reprocess that or get it used in time. Wood from your SP professional.
So what else is going on in your life? What's going on up there? What are we thinking about? Um, I'm thinking more and more about the impact of offsites
Oh boy.
traditional standard process sterile processing departments and
Mm,
what that looks like in the future.
man. Okay, so if I were not me, what I would say is I don't like offsites. All right. I'm just gonna
Tell
talk
me
on
about it.
stage.
Talk to me. Talk to
But
me.
I'm not me. I'm just speaking from somebody else's point of view right now. So don't judge me. I don't think. Okay, let me just say one thing. If you're gonna spend that extra money on instrumentation anyway, you might as well spend it in the department you already have, right? Don't you think so? But because most outside processing facilities end up spending the money to get extra instrument trays anyway.
That is a part of the process of going to an offsite place, and I think in general, uh, instrument quality is not our number one problem. It is instrument capacity and the productivity is an issue when you're constantly being bombarded with change requests and what have you. And I know as a sterile processing tech, a surgical tech, and a surgical first assistant, that's just a part of what happens when you have a standing healthcare facility. What offsite does is gives you some flexibility so that uh, you can process just a lot more productive. It can help you with these standardization processes that will never happen. You got a hospital with 5 systems, and everybody agrees that we should standardize to one tray for ortho and one tray for lab, but it never happens. And so when you borrow from the other place, it's like a whole new world. You're like, what in the world is this? So, I mean, it can help with that. There's a lot of efficiencies in offsite processing. It doesn't. One of the myths is that it deletes or takes away the need for on-site processing. There's still going to be a need for on-site processing and a staff to manage the receipt and storage of those trays, but offsite facility hour over hour just can produce way more products than you can in a
Yeah.
standing facility.
And I agree with your points, but I believe some facilities that are going to offsite are creating offsite facilities for their inventory. They may be looking at it the wrong way. That's why they're not having success. Sometimes you may need an offsite facility for your storage, but not for your reprocessing. If you focus on your reprocessing within your facility and have an outside, not not too distant from your main facility, but if you have a storage facility versus a reprocessing facility on the outside, and restructure your department for reprocessing and create a storage facility, I think that would work because you still have this transport process, but the thing is, you'll only be transporting clean or sterile instrumentation. So I think that's another way of thinking. Instead of going outside to reprocess inside and store outside.
Hmm. I think I think you're holding on to that on site because you're thinking of it as it personal to you. But when you
No,
go to the 30,000 foot, you're not losing any employees, right? You need fewer people on site because you should be just shipping stuff out and it should be being reprocessed at the point of use care check, send it out, and then send it back. That group at an offsite, one, they have a much higher retention rate than at a healthcare facility. And so you do the math and figure out why that is.
I've heard of burnout at these facilities also. I've heard of burnout at a couple of those facilities.
Yeah, well, I think burnout is inherent in any industry that you produce products at the rate that we need to produce products. So I think when you describe what we do to people outside our industry, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. They're like, gosh, you guys must make $100,000 because the only people who thinks of it as just dishwashing are the people inside our own facility. From an outside manufacturer, they're like, you guys, okay, desoil the instruments, and then you guys are the same ones that assemble the instruments, and then they have to be the specific specifications. You have to check them, and then you put them into a machine that's sterilized. Like that, when you're explaining the process, they are just amazed at what we do, and it is a very linear and broad thing that can produce burnout. So there, burnout in what we do doesn't surprise me. I see surgeons getting burnout. I used to see first assistants getting burnout. I used to see surgical technicians, surgical technologists, excuse me, fellow surge tech, and OR nurses getting burnout. So all of us see patients at such a high rate that it can cause burnout.
So, going back to this offsite situation, right? Um, so I was listening. I was in the Amy group where we were discussing transport.
I didn't hear you speaking up, man. I was in there.
Man, I was a fly on the wall. I just wanted to listen. I didn't want to ruffle no feathers. I did drop a couple messages in the chat, but so everyone was focused on, oh, when the truck gets there, somebody needs to offload it, blah 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 blah. But how you gonna determine your processing times, or if you if your transport time and your sitting time, because most, if you look at it, right, in normal freight delivery, right, you would get stuff like, if you're okay, you worked in materials management, supply chain, stuff would get to the dock and sit on the dock for hours before it got into the department, right? Before it got scanned in, right?
True.
So
Facts.
I'm imagining the same issues with instruments coming in. They get off the truck and they're gonna sit there till John gets off for lunch, um, or somebody in Deacon time could dig down and come back there and pull those carts in. So my suggestion would be to document the time that tray or that those trays left the original facility, the facility of use, and got to the department. So you actually document those times. You could also document the drive time, and then document that other the time from the dock to decontamination. So you know, if you kind of could equate or estimate what instrumentation you need to process in a different way when you get to decontamination. So if you, let's say you transport in scopes, which I doubt, but let's say you transport in scopes and they're sitting there for 3 hours, you'd know, hey, I need to soak it for a certain
Yeah.
period of
Right.
time
Yeah. But
before.
I think that's an important part. But hold on, let's back up, super Denard. So there are some people watching who are like, what are they talking about? Which Amy discussion, which Amy group are you talking about? So tell us a little bit what you're talking about, so we can share, because our commitment, starting this year and moving forward, we want to crowdsource from everybody in the group that doesn't have a voice. So you are one of the elite people who have a voice. You got the link. So rewind a little bit. Tell us a little bit what we're talking about.
I forgot what group it was. I forgot. Oh, I actually forgot. My bad. I forgot what group it was. I was in a couple. I was swinging around. I was in a couple of groups, but that group I sat in for a while. They were speaking. The conversation was on transporting soil
So,
instrumentation from your main hospital facility of use, and transporting it to your reprocessing department or facility offsite. So the
so
conversation was on getting those instrumentation to decontamination in a timely manner, ASAP, soon as possible, whatever. They want to get it to decontam quickly.
yeah.
So the verbiage I heard was never about documenting the time so that you could reprocess it in the time. Because certain IFUs give you a set time for having soil, bioburden, um, from use to reprocess, and you may have to change your reprocessing strategy processes to get that instrumentation clean by the IFUs. So how would you know that this instrument or this tray or this cart, whatever, has been sitting for extended period of time unless you document it? I never heard anybody say anything about documenting it. All I heard was, when the truck gets there, we need to get it as soon as possible. How do we put that in the policy? Blah 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 blah. But the best thing to do is document it, unless there's another issue with documentation. And I also heard in that group about the drivers being certified for transporting soil contaminated instrumentation. And you were there. Come on.
So what you're talking about is Amy TIR 109, which is
109. All right, let me write
it is
that
the
down.
external
109.
transport of medical devices. And you say, hey, I think that's an ST79. One, ST79 is a document only made for steam sterilization. Two, it doesn't walk you through all the steps. It's really talking about transporting stuff that has already been sterilized, right? The part that talks about stuff that has been patient used is talking about internal transportation inside the organization. So what and really I give Sue Klasick a lot of props on this, but HSPA, Sue Klasick, Damon Burke, it started this rally like, when we're processing anything sterilized by low temperature, it doesn't have any guidance. When we're processing flexible scopes and transport them, it doesn't have any guidance. So instead of trying to add this information to each one of those documents, we're making a TIR, which is a technical information, uh, that it really is not a standard, but it gives some guidance about how you should set up your transport system. Now, we know in reality, when we talk about our transport system, it's not all people that work at our hospital, or at our facility. So we're using a lot of couriers. And in reality, you're seeing everything from a nice air conditioned transport van, cargo van, to Uncle Jimmy's Jeep 1987 Jeep Cherokee with a dog cage on one seat.
Ford
And
Ranger.
yeah, so they're putting your trays on the back of a Ford Ranger pickup. And so it was like, let's bring some recommendations, which is what a TIR is. The R is for recommendation, is to the forefront so that we can have some guidance. Because right now, it's like the Wild Wild West. It's like we used to use this guy, and I'm not gonna say where we I'm not gonna say what we are, right? I'm not gonna say where this was, but there was this one guy who could get it from one of our campuses to another campus across town in a busy metropolitan area of over 6 million faster than any of those other courier services. So we used to use him all the time. And so one day he needed some help because we were sending like a Bovie machine over, right? So we needed some help. He pulled his Toyota Corolla from 1983 up, and he was like, "Yeah, just lay it down in there." And that was the first time I thought maybe all these couriers aren't as trained, equipped, required as we think. I had another situation like you were talking about with the flexible scopes. That we were doing the flexible scopes for all these outlying clinics, and when they had to be repaired, we would have to pay for them, and then we would have to kind of like debit the accounts of the clinics that they were paid for. So we had to make sure it was like 71119 was from this clinic and not from that clinic, because the clinics were like, "Is that our scope?" And so we had the stores rep come in, and we wanted them to look at the process from use all the way through. And he was like, "Did you know when they pick the scopes up, they carry them like briefcases?" Well, why wouldn't they? They don't know what's inside there. They don't have any training or requirements. No one ever said, "Hey, only keep these horizontal," because the things inside these cost more than your vehicle. And so they would have 3 or 4 of them under their arm and put them in. And so those are the things, like right now as we stand, there is nothing wrong with that, right? Because we don't have in writing, well, this is what you should do, and this is what you should do. This is the information that you require from these couriers. And so that's what we're attempting to do. And TIRs are never perfect. So when it comes out, it's not going to be the solution to all your things. As you're talking about with documentation, we don't have a stopwatch that we could put on each transportation bin. But at some point, we have to start the process of putting some infrastructure and rules in place, because people get confused. Certification is going to tell you the principles behind what you're doing and kind of some how-tos of how to do it. But Amy, the reason why you need to consult Amy is going to tell you the rules, regulations, and as they say in Friday, the principalities of what you're doing, right? Like you can have all the certifications, but if you're not familiar with Amy, you could be doing something technically wrong or against the standard. So we're just trying to establish some rules and guidelines to prevent from what Melinda said, crazy stuff like golf carts tipping over and all the trays flipping out of them. That would be crazy. Hey, emergency, we need somebody from SPD to come and build these trays back up because they're all over the front lawn. And Amy provides, specifically TIRs are great at providing guidance. Thank you, Melinda, for that key word. Wondering why you're not here in the group. Did you?
Yeah,
Melinda,
yes.
That you got to put that link out. We need Melinda to
Oh,
jump.
guys. The link to get on the show is in your LinkedIn page. It's right there. Look in your comments. It's on your Facebook if you're watching, and it's also on YouTube. So swing over to YouTube. You see that comment, hit it, and get on stage. Lindsay. G40, I believe it was. Oh no, I think he got it. I think it's it's 109. I think I was on WG42 for a time. I'm all confused now.
So Lindsay is technically correct. The work group for TIR 109 is work group 40. So Lindsay is technically correct. And part of what we want to do at Advantage is we want to be that voice for all the people with great ideas, like you, Dinar. But you don't need our help. You're already a big timer. But for the
Oh,
people who
wow.
are not big time podcast influencers,
That's for Lindsay. Thank you.
but really, because I remember I had a bunch of ideas, but I didn't have enough money to join Amy. And what we're doing at Advantage is we are providing 3 internship positions that will allow you to join our team, discuss documents, contribute to documents, to be a part of these Amy meetings, so that you will be a big timer like Denard, and just give us your feedback so that we can implement it.
A big timer like me?
Yeah. So,
Oh,
Lindsay,
man.
did you make any comments on TIR 109? What's not in there that we need to make sure is in there, and what's in there that doesn't make sense? Because we're coming around that corner. We want to get that TIR out so that we can stop people from having golf clubs, golf carts, and
Golf
putting
carts
and
and all that good
laying
stuff.
eight carts down in the Ford Ranger. These are all things that really happen.
The
Um,
Cherokee, too.
so, Lindsay, what did you what did you hear? What did you think? What did you see? What do we need to do? What can we do to
Temperature
show
tracking and transport. Why do we need to
temperature?
check track the temperature, Lindsay? Transport of clean or soiled?
Temperature tracking is a controversial thing. I want Melinda to come in and comment on that.
Oh, man. But be but before Melinda comes and comments, guys, if you're gonna track something, right? There's a shoe that lets you comfortably walk away from contamination, right? We know you spend your entire shift on your feet and need a healthy shoe that can be easily decontaminated. All Cal Zero shoes are designed to keep you moving and can be machine washed and disinfected with bleach. Cal Zero, a new type of footwear that meets the changing needs of the medical environment, using an innovative copolymer rubber compound to create a product that is sterilizable, autoclavable, and anti-static, and extremely comfortable for people standing for long hours. Additionally, Cal Zero Classic can be sterilized using an autoclave at your facility in your sterile processing department. Cal Zero's been around since 1983 and is here to wash away your worries every step of the way. Their mission is to provide comfortable, easy to clean footwear made to treat your feet. So, guys, hop on to calzero.com and grab yourself a shoe. And don't forget, we have the code the process. You put that in on checkout and you will get 17.99 discount. All right. So then put the link.
That's a good deal. And although I'm not endorsed by CalZero, that does bring up another question. We got to bookmark the TIR because Melinda made a comment and Lindsay made a comment. But okay, all right. We have a lot of people that wear tennis shoes or sneakers in sterile processing, and that's up to them. It's not illegal. Um, but what I ask is for those of us who either travel or go to other hospitals for audits or work from one hospital to the other one, tell me how you ensure that those tennis shoes are disinfected before your next use.
You don't. If it looks clean, it must be clean.
Well, I mean, but the very nature of tennis shoes is that whatever aerosolization, whatever half disinfection, enzymatic, blood droplets, body fluid droplets, you can't clean those out. And then you're going to take them to your washer at home that averages 128 degrees, and you think you're gonna kill microorganisms.
If you can't see it, it's clean.
Well, that's what we pretend. So, I mean, whether it's Calzura or somebody else, let's think about as a profession. Listen, again, if you just work at one facility, wear those contaminated tennis shoes over and over again. Fine, go with that. But why not get a shoes that either at the end of your shift, man, you spray those things, grab one of those sandy wipes, wipe it down. You are assured that it is organism free because that's what they're designed for. You can't do that with your tennis shoes. So anyway, back to the main topic.
Back to the main topic, guys. So we're talking about transport with Miss Lindsay and Melinda. So yeah, I kind of figured she was talking about um, the clean transportation.
So here's the only. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say what I said the last time we were in a work group. So we need a temperature track, something that was just at 270 degrees for 30 minutes, for an hour and 15 minutes.
Beg your pardon?
I'm asking. So
what are you asking?
Something the tray, the peel pot, whatever we're talking about, was just in a sterilizer that never dipped below 250 degrees and was mostly at somewhere in the 270s for an hour and a half, and we need to monitor the temperature in somebody's car. I don't think anybody's car is going to surpass that 270 during that transport period. So that's just my devil's advocate, Lindsay. You're on a roll, and I know that's probably not here, but I'm just asking. That is a huge part of the discussions, the back and forth discussions. That was incredibly huge, and we need contributors, right? I think the question is, and Lindsay, you may have it different at your organization, and Melinda referred to it when we're talking about realistically how these things are transported. Who? You see, I got it close to the camera and said, who? What are we talking about? Who's going to monitor this temperature? The guy with the pickup truck? Or are we going to be responsible for buying temperature monitors? Because, they love to give SPD extra budget money, right? So we're going to buy temperature trackers, and then we're going to get the temperature trackers back, and then we're going to have how many loads do you run a day? How many things do we need? 12 temperature trackers? Do we need 14? Do we need 112? And then how do we account for getting them back?
So let me give you a scenario. Old man Johnson is driving the truck, right? He picked up some priority trays, need to get turned around. He picking them up, bringing them back to the main facility. There's an accident, there's traffic. Old man Johnson's like, you know what? I could make it. So he takes a shortcut, right? So the shortcut ends up being another roadblock. There's construction. They're digging a big pothole for some reason. There's a watermain break. So he shortcuts them to another hour, and the OR's calling, hey, the trays are on the way. The trays are on the way. Okay, we have an add-on. It's a trauma. We're trying to get those trays back. So if the temperature went to over your set parameters, should Mr. Johnson, old man Johnson, drive that truck back to be reprocessed or take it to the facility for use?
Well, first of all, Lindsay clarified her request. She said the temperature of the sterile storage after the sterilization from facility to another facility. So we got that. Right. I think, and I think we all think that the real danger of transport is non-sterilized or non-high-level disinfected items, right? Because studies show time after time that extended time and extended temperature increases the chance of bioburden, film and makes bioburden harder to remove, right? That's just a scientific fact. So when we're talking about transporting, and I don't want to say dirty or contaminated because that starts a whole nother argument. Because I'm like, you guys let people just take stuff off the mail stand and put it in the truck? I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't care how small the clinic is. We need those things rinsed out before they come down here. We don't need an enzymatic. You don't have to have an ultrasonic. You don't have. We got to do something before they get over here. But that's where the risk is of items that have not been cleaned or high level disinfected or sterile. So there is a risk there, right? But then again, you're talking about smaller, less resource facilities providing temperature tracking capabilities. And I just don't know how to figure that out. I don't have all the answers, but I know the wound clinic on 57th Street cannot afford a single temperature monitor. And then, so who does that? And then Melinda talked a little bit about condensation. We know condensation is real. We know that condensation after cooling is not as real as that. So that's a fight that Melinda and I fight all the time about condensation and about room temperature cooling versus patient use. But in sterile storage or transport, you gotta let it cool to room temperature.
All right. So, what if Jose gets Jose Johnson? What if Mr. Johnson gets a flat? What if his AC goes out on the truck and you have to fly in a part or the part is on back order? Will you still use that truck? Does it matter? What if it goes? What if you're in Minnesota and it's like below freezing? Should you be transporting trays if you can't hit that truck up to your humidity and temperature requirements?
So what I can say right now is there are a lot smarter people than me doing the research, right? Because this is an area that has been under research. We don't have the science. We have the knowledge and we know the common sense, but we need some science. If X equals, Y. So, and Melinda is correct. And that's why I'm glad to see the contributions by Lindsay. Temperature monitoring is a hot, no pun intended. If you know Melinda, you know that the pun was intended. Like Melinda, you can't make a pun. You can't sit there and say, how can I make a pun and then say no pun intended? That's not how no pun intended works. But she's right. It is a big issue.
It is. It's a hot topic. It's a hot. You got it. You get it. It's a hot topic. No. Okay.
But and here's the thing to remember: we're not going to get it all perfect on this TIR. What we're going to start to do is build a framework of what you have to do and what you expect, primarily from. Let's be honest. Very few facilities are transporting their own stuff. The vast majority of stuff is being transported by somebody who has only a loose affiliation with the facility that's really concentrated on them getting paid for their services. So we have to make sure that our contracts, when we say, okay, if you want to be our courier, you have to do this kind of training. And that was one of the things that kind of, if you've heard my voice before, that's where you heard Angela Llewellyn, Angie and I speak up the most, because sometimes we're talking into a silo that's not really talking about what's really going on.
So, I agree with what you're saying. There are a lot of people smarter than you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but yeah, I understand how the aiming process goes. You don't get to batting 100 on your first day. You kind of, build it up. You build up your percentages. You see where it's lacking based on the practices or the recommendations, and then you plug those holes up until you have a nice slate, so to speak. So I
Yeah,
definitely
that's
understand
a,
the
yeah, that's a
I understand the process, pun intended.
good.
you know. So yeah. So guys, if you really wanted to lend your voice to the show, you could have went to YouTube and hit on that link, that StreamYard link, and you'd be on the show now. You could have went to LinkedIn and hit that StreamYard link and you'd be on the show right now. You could have went to Facebook and hit that StreamYard link and be on the show right now. Why aren't you doing it? Because you scared. No, I'm just kidding. But don't forget. But guys, I just want to remind you, we're having our 12-hour marathon on Sunday. Um, everybody's gonna be there. Everybody you think you know, you might know, you think know. There's Sarah. Sarah's gonna be there. If Sarah's gonna be there, you gotta tune in. So we have our 12-hour marathon starting 12 p.m. Eastern time. On Sunday. So make sure you join in. Danny is gonna be on there. Melinda is gonna
Hey
be on
Sarah,
there.
hey Danny.
Jhmeid's gonna be on there.
We got to get Lindsay on there.
And we gotta get Lindsay on. Lindsay, what's
She
going
came
on?
with some hot fire. Hey, listen, she came with some hot fire. She might not have jumped on the recording, but she came in with some hot fire. I like that.
So Lindsay, send me a message, and I'll hook you up, and you'll come on Sunday between 12 p.m. Eastern time and 12. We go into midnight. So we're celebrating Stellar Processing Week. We're gonna give away some nice little prizes. We're gonna have some education on there. We're gonna have some folks you haven't seen in a while and hear from them. We're gonna it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. Janine's going. I think she's going. What did she tell me? She told me I can't make it. I'll be at work. That's what Janine told me. Yep. She
Well,
told
listen at
me
work.
I
Listen at
can't be
work.
there. I'm at work all day. Yep.
Listen at work. Listen at work.
Janine will be at work, so she can't make it. But I'll tell Janine, message me and I'll hook you up.
Oh, Dante, you got to get Dante on, man. You
Yeah, no,
got to get
Dante's
Dante.
on. Dante's on.
Okay, okay.
I told you everybody's on except Lindsay. So Lindsay, give me a shout. So Dante is on. Who else is on? Like I'm trying to figure out who I don't have on so that I could invite them. But when you get older, the memory slowly goes away.
Man, you don't
So
even have a single gray hair.
just for men keeps the gray away.
I remember
Okay.
you were saying something about my gray and my beard. I was like, it's a lot
Yeah,
more
I
than.
don't, I don't want to be a Santa yet. I don't want to be Santa yet. Yeah, give me a few more years, and I'll do the whole Santa thing and the gray and all that. But just for men, it works. So, but shout out to my sponsor, Sterile Education. Download the app. It has all the podcasts on there. It has educational opportunities on there. It's a nice little app. Stop downloading those video game apps and those medical diagnosis apps. What are the apps that really, those little meme apps? Stop downloading those apps and download a sterile processing app. It's called Sterile Education. Just go to your Google App Store. Yeah, Google App Store or your Apple. What they call the Apple one? The Apple App Store.
The
I
App
don't know.
Store, the real App Store.
No,
I
that's
don't
it.
read
Nah,
anything
man,
about
that's
Google.
like if you an Android user, go to the Google. Right?
I
Apple
thought you
is
were
a
going to say if
fruit.
you're an Android user, go to the Apple Store and throw that thing in the trash.
Apple is a fruit. Android is a network. Okay, get that straight. Um, So, guys, it was a good time talking with you, Jhmeid. I'm trying to, work on my. There's an app for that. Whoa, whoa. So, guys, everybody I think I know, I can remember in the back of my mind will be on the show. You know, let me see. Jesse Lopez is gonna be on there.
All
Let me
right.
just name drop a little bit. Sharon Green Golden is gonna be on there.
All right.
All right. Who else is gonna be on there? Let me name drop.
What about Ebo?
Ebo is gonna be on. Come on, I told you everybody's gonna be on there. Ebo is
Okay.
gonna be on there. Who else? Who else? Mm,
You got Sarah coming, but you don't have Dave coming.
who?
Dave Jagrossi.
Oh, oh man, Dave. I'll send you a little thing. Seth Hendy's coming on.
I love to hear Seth.
Guess who else is coming on?
Who? Sharon.
Another Lindsay.
Ah, that's great. That's great.
So
Man,
we'll
you got
have
a
another
all-star
Lindsay
lineup.
coming on.
So
Um,
so that might mean like nobody will notice if I'm watching football while I'm on.
no,
I'll be like,
nope.
go, go, go.
So yeah, so it's gonna be
Oh, Adam is on there. Adam, yeah, that's great. That's great.
yeah. Adam Okada is gonna be on there. Who else? Who else? Who else? Man, there have so many names I can't remember. We have Knowledge and Nonsense on here. Miss Sharon
Oh,
Combs.
ooh.
Yep, yep, yep.
Is Lawayne? You gonna get Lawayne on there? Arlene.
Lewin had a conflicting up arrangement. He couldn't. He
What
could.
about Arlene?
Arlene Bush is gonna be on here. Come on, man. What kind of thing is that?
What about Brian?
Um,
What about Brian?
Brian. I don't have his information. I was trying to get him, but I'll ask through Arlene
I
and
got you. I
Miss.
got you. I got you.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. Send me his info, and Monique's gonna be on there.
Who? Bo Nix, the
Monique.
quarterback for Oregon.
Monique. There's only one
Oh,
Monique, the
Monique.
comedian. No, I'm
Oh,
just another comedian. She is a comedian too. She's very funny,
yeah.
but Monique
She had a
Jelks
little
will be
humor in
on
her.
there.
She had a little humor in her presentation.
Yeah, I like her. She's
Well,
funny.
she's hard not to like.
I like her. I like her. I like her. And we have a couple of podcasters that might be on there too. I don't know if you know them. A couple guys who started a podcast a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, I love to see the growth. I love to see the growth.
Yeah, there are a couple. Yeah, there are a couple dudes. One of them has a beard. I don't know when he's gonna cut that, but he's gonna be on there. He wears a red hat at times. Y'all may know who I'm talking about. I mean,
Well, I
big
mean,
dudes.
he's lucky that I had to do an audit because my beard would be much, much, much longer. And so I see him and Sean debating about the beards, and I'm like, I mean,
I was trying it too, but after a while, I was like, this thing is taking too long. I'm gonna do one of those fake beard implant things. I'm gonna
uh,
shave it and get it glued on, and you know, yep, yep, yep. I see them on Instagram all the time. You shave it clean, you line it up nice, you get a full mane.
oh, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, with the
There's a lot of
coloring
that
and
going
everything.
around.
It looks
Oh yeah,
real.
yeah. They're doing that.
I'm gonna
They're doing that for
definitely.
dreads. They do that for dread.
They
They're
do it.
doing
Yeah,
that for
this is
locks.
all fake too. This is all fake.
They do that for locks a lot. And
I
like
do it every 2 weeks.
when I
This is all
when I,
fake. Let me peel it back for you guys to see.
when I was growing up, locks was something that was hard that you had to earn. Now you could go in like this and come out like you.
But guys, I really want y'all to come out. Shout out to my sponsors, calzero.com, Sterile Education, and I really want to see you guys on Tuesday. Be putting out a little bit of content throughout the week so you guys could see the past marathon, get some clips. I put up some cuts out there from Tanya Lewis. I put that on LinkedIn. I also
Oh,
put a clip on there from
that's my
Jesse Lopez.
girl.
And my next clip is gonna be from Lindsay Brown. She had some good information when she came on last year. So I'm gonna keep rolling the clips out so you guys get familiar with how the marathon goes, and we'll have some fun on Sunday. So guys, just show up. Come on, just log on, stream it to your TV, get some popcorn, relax. It's not, I mean, you know, it's cool. It's okay. It's okay. You could do it. You could do it. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you on Sunday.
All right
Right?
now.
And where are we going to see you, Jhmeid? Sunday also?
Yeah, I might have on a football jersey.
Well, Eagles, the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Well, y'all haven't really played anybody, but y'all looking
Oh
good. Yeah,
man,
I'm
you
not
see the
gonna hate. I'm not
haters.
gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate. Y'all looking good. Y'all looking good.
Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good. We came down from 14 down last week. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we
yeah.
beat a couple, iffy teams, but everybody was over 500 except for the first game. But we beat a couple okay teams. We're looking
And
good.
I mean, I like Jalen Hurts. I want him to succeed. So
Yeah, we have some injuries. We might lose this week coming, but it's all right. I'll be on the marathon all day long. So if we
you
lose,
won't
I
even
won't
notice.
know.
You won't even notice.
I
You
won't
won't.
even know. I'll stay positive. So, guys, thank you for joining in. I did share the link on all platforms so that you guys will have an opportunity to come down. Shout out to Omar in the audience. Appreciate it, brother. And, guys, we'll see you on Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.
Peace.